Alright guys, Teppei Kiyoshi is in the game now as the new Battle Pass character for this month, and he's also added to the Generation Miracle banner. So let's talk about how good he is, what kind of role he normally plays, and I will also talk about talent priority, which one should you level up first, and also whether or not you need dupes on him. Okay, so let's start off with just talking about kind of the general role Kiyoshi is going to play. So Kiyoshi is a center. However, if you actually take a look at his strengths and also his vertical, you can see he's equally good in both of them. And what that basically means is that you can build him like a traditional center, relying on strengths to box out the opponent, try to wait for the ball to just kind of drop on top of you, and then grab the rebound. Or you can also build him as kind of one of those fast jumping rebounder. So rather than trying to box out the opponent with your strength, instead you just basically build up with fully loaded with vertical and just jump as soon as you see the ball flashing and try to grab the ball before other people jump. Okay, so he can actually be built in both ways, which is very, very useful. Then the other thing which also makes him stand out in comparison to other centers is the fact that he actually has very high mid range. So he can actually shoot from not just underneath the basket area, but he can even shoot from the perimeter, and also he has very fast speed as well, which can help him to assist in defense and also stretch out the paint. And that's kind of the biggest selling point for Kiyoshi, in my opinion, is that the fact that he actually has very strong mid range. And what that basically means is that during offensive phase, you no longer need to just stand underneath the basket. Instead, what you should be doing is actually stand towards the perimeter. And what that will do is that it will force the enemy center to come out and guard you, because if they don't come out, you will have an open chance to shoot, and with your high mid range, there's a high likelihood that shot will actually go in. Okay, so basically the fact that you are standing near the perimeter line forces the enemy center to come out to guard you, and when they actually come out to guard you, that basically impact two things. Number one is that no enemy will be underneath the basket to guard against your teammates' dunks or layup. And a lot of characters in this game have a dunk or layup with two different block timing, and that basically means you will be forcing whoever is marking your teammate to take a guess in terms of which block timing they will be doing, because the enemy center can no longer help because the enemy center need to come out to guard you. So that's the number one thing that you are able to achieve. Then the number two thing you'll be able to achieve is that, let's say the ball doesn't go in and it goes into a rebound, because Kiyoshi is actually faster than other traditional center, so even though both Kiyoshi and also the enemy center will be around the perimeter line, you will be slightly faster and therefore likely to get into a slightly better position than the enemy center as well. Okay, so that's kind of why when you play Kiyoshi, you should definitely not just stand underneath the basket, because that's not really where he belongs. He should be actually more outside towards kind of the perimeter line to stretch out the paint and attract the enemy center to guard you. Okay, so that's basically the positioning of how you want to play Kiyoshi. Now, obviously, that sounds very, very good. However, that does come with a trade-off, which is the fact that he is going to have a slightly weaker block and also rebound in comparison to other traditional centers. So, from a rebound point of view, he doesn't even have a rebounding skill until the very end of his ultimate, and this actually requires stacking up. Okay, so that's kind of why out of the box he is going to have a lot weaker rebounding ability than other traditional centers. And also from blocking point of view, he is actually very good in blocking shots and therefore assisting in defense, because first of all he's fast and he also has the skill to actually block shots as well. However, if we're actually talking about blocking dunks and layup, he is going to be slightly weaker in comparison to other traditional centers as well. So that's kind of the trade-off you'll be getting for Kiyoshi. He's very fast, he's able to have stronger offense, and he's able to assist in defense. However, in the sense of a traditional center, he's going to have weaker rebound and also weaker blocks against dunks and layup. Okay, so that's basically the role Kiyoshi is going to be in comparison to other traditional centers. Now let's talk about his talent priority. Okay, so the first one you want to completely max out is going to be his ultimate, because like I said, you need this in order to actually get his rebound. This is very important for him. Without this, he literally have no rebound ability at all. So you definitely want to invest 3 plus 7 plus 10. So you want to put 20 talent cards here. Okay, so that's the first number priority. Then the next one is you do want to put 5 here for this blocking one, for blocking shot, because that's one of his main selling point, the fact that he's actually able to assist in defense. Then this one to me is not that useful, because whilst it looks very strong on paper, it does kind of require 3 buttons to be pressed in your row just for this to trigger. And normally for blocking, you need to get very precise with the block timing. So I do feel like this can be slightly difficult to actually pull off. If you're very good, then this is a maiden skill, but otherwise I'll probably skip this for the time being. Okay, so for you to actually have a Kiyoshi which is capable of doing like a traditional center, which is like being played like a center, all you need is going to be block and also his rebound, in which case the 5 from this is going to be enough, plus a 20 from ultimate attack. Okay, so 25 talent card, in my opinion, is already going to be the minimum playable for Teppei Kiyoshi. Now, if you do want to make your Kiyoshi better, then the next one I'm going to recommend is going to be the 4th skill tree. And what you want to do is you want to get those 2, okay? So you want to have the ability to catch and dunk, and also catch and dunk and pass. And this gives you another variation of how you can essentially act as point guard and dictate a lot of the playmaking for your team as well. And this also gives you a much bigger threat for the enemy as well, in the sense that if you do not want to stand near the perimeter line, you just want to stand underneath the basket, the fact that you're able to catch and dunk already makes sure that the enemy center is completely focused on you, because they need to try to block this dunk. And then the fact that you can then pass this to a teammate to create open space as well is going to be very, very useful, especially if you then pass it on to someone with another catch and dunk ability, let's say. Then the enemy center, because he has to jump for your dunk, he would no longer be able to jump for your teammates catch and dunk. Okay, so that's kind of how you are able to bring another whole variation of offensive threat when you actually unlock this skill. But this does kind of require a synergy with your teammate, so that's kind of why I'm going to put this lower priority than the first 25 talent card I mentioned for his block and ultimate. Okay, so this is kind of the second priority after you have maxed out the rebound and the block, or max out the ult and the block. And then if you have already invested the 8 talent cards here, then the next one you can move on to is going to be the first tree. And for the first tree, I will probably suggest you only have to go up to here, I think. I was saying go up to here, it's going to be enough. And the reason why you want to go up here is that if you actually hold the ball, this is going to be the best way for you to actually score. Obviously, the ones I showed you before is more about catch and dunk, so you're kind of relying on the teammate actually passing to you. This one is actually what you're able to do when you're already holding the ball yourself. So this is also very strong. This is kind of the main offensive ability for Kiyoshi if you actually want to score with him. But at the end of the day, scoring is not the #1 priority for centers anyway. So that's kind of why I'm going to put this on the next level priority as well. Okay, and then after you have done this, the rest is going to be up to you what you want to do. I think those are kind of the main skills. Okay, so just to recap, in order for him to be barely or minimum playable, what you should do is unlock the 5 in this block and then max out the ultimate, so that's 25 talent card. If you don't want to take your kill sheet to the next level, what you don't want to invest in is another additional 8 here, so that you can get this catch and dunk and pass. And then at the same time, you also want to invest another 8 you want to invest another 15 in this one as well. Okay, so in that case, the total will be 48 card to take your kill sheet to the next level. Okay, so that's going to be the talent priority. Then the next one is going to be Awakening. So Awakening 1, I think this is quite useful for him because you're actually able to restore his ultimate energy, and that's very useful for him because he needs his ult in order to do all of his playmaking, all of his passing, etc. If you do not have this ult and you try to do a catch and dunk, that's like an instant block for the opponent because the opponent knows you can't pass the ball out, and therefore you have to jump for the dunk. So that's kind of why I do feel like Awakening 1 is quite useful for him. And also the raw stats it gives, it's also going to be rebound, which considering the fact that that's already kind of one of Kiyoshi's weak stats, this is actually going to be quite nice for him to have as well. Okay, so I do kind of recommend Awakening 1 as a bare minimum. Afterwards, I think Awakening 2, 3, 4, they are all not that useful, so you can skip them. But if you do really want to take your Kiyoshi to the next level, Awakening 5 and Awakening 6 are quite nice because it does improve his block a lot, and also it does improve his strength. So if you do need to compete against other traditional center in terms of boxing out, those are also pretty good to have. It's just a bit expensive because it's kind of Awakening 5 and Awakening 6, and you do have to sit through some of the less useful skills in the middle. So that's kind of only for the pay to win players if you have the resources to go all out. Otherwise, I'll probably say Awakening 1 is going to be sufficient for vast majority of Teppei Kiyoshis out there. Okay, so those are going to be my thoughts and also kind of like a quick guide for Teppei Kiyoshi. Let me know what you guys think of this character and if you are planning to use him.